DanganRonpa.
Hey guys, you have the Chin here, and welcome back to Let's Play some more DanganRonpa. In the last episode, we investigated the death of Chihiro Fujisaki. And, this time we're going to start the class trial. Let's see, hey, do we have Hey! Where's Short One? Fukawa still hasn't shown. Who's Fukawa? You don't remember? Just Josh, and I never forget her. Besides, she's got a vital role to play in this class trial. I'm gonna go bring her down, even if I have to do it by force, back in a flash. Shooter's word, Monokuma returned with Fukawa in tow. Just a few minutes later. I said I didn't want to. Why did you have to go and drag me here against my free will? Your cruelty knows no bounds. Whew, that makes everyone. Now that we've got that taken care of, you guys hurry up and head on down to the courtroom. I'll go on ahead and meet you there. Let's get going then. It's time to unmask Chihiro Fujisaki's murderer. Fujisaki. Chihiro Fujisaki. She was kind, gentle, and frail. Not the kind of girl anyone could resent. And yet, someone killed her. And the person who did it is in this room. Somewhere in this room. Well, without further ado, let's just get on the elevator. We have no choice, do we? No, we don't. I nodded my head slightly in response, let out a long, heavy sigh, and then, on shaky legs, stepped onto the elevator. Legs? My heart sped up with every step I took. Once everyone had boarded, the elevator began its descent, carrying with it the vortex of emotion and speculation that swirled around us. The elevator clunked, rattling my eardrums painfully, as it sunk deeper and deeper into the earth. The farther down it carried us, the greater my anxiety grew. But still the elevator continued to sink, farther and farther below the surface, until finally, it came to an abrupt stop. What do you think of the new car? Pretty exciting, huh? Next I feel like a totally different room, right? How about none of the above? Let's just hurry up and get this started. Ooh, you've got spunk! I like that. Alright, let's get this party started. Go find the seat with your name on it, you guys. And once again the curtain rose on, a trial for life and a judgment of death, a deception in life and treachery in death. Betrayal for life and betrayal for death, the riddles of life and the mystery of death, justification for life and rationalization of death, faith in life and trust in death, the class trial to live, or the class trial to die. Alright, so I'm going to save it again. Anyway, just look at our skills. I definitely want to use Remarkable Influence. Charisma increases the influence recovered when you enter. I might actually activate that. Strong Arm increases. This is really good. Strong Arm. We got from Leon. And this is actually going to be useful. Oh, and Hawkeye is actually pretty good too. What did I want to turn off last time? It wasn't Voice of Gold. It was a... yeah, Trance. So that kind of screws me over. Use algorithm, and let's see. That needs 5. Okay, so there's nothing else I can turn on, is there? Alright, so let's get started. Let's start off with a simple explanation. You guys' votes determine the trial's outcome. Finger the true villain and only the villain gets punished, but make the wrong accusation and everyone else gets punished, leaving your deceiver to graduate free and clear. Let's see, first on the agenda, how about we start things off with a murder weapon? Looks like my first task is to identify the weapon that killed Fujisaki. Alright, class trial yet again. Dumbbell. Fujisaki's cause of death. It was the blow to her head. The Monokuma file says she was struck with something blunt, but what was it? It was a metal pipe, dude. No, that's wrong. Wasn't the weapon used to kill her the dumbbell we found at the crime scene? Not only was there blood on it, there wasn't anything else at the scene that could have done that to her. Also, the wound on the victim's head matches the shape of the dumbbell. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, there's no room for questions. You examined her wound? Eek! Gross! I'll take the floor from here and change the subject to that of the murderer. Of course, I've already established who did it. What? You for real? The culprit responsible for Chihiro Fujisaki's murder is the homicidal maniac, genocider Sho. The homicidal maniac, genocider Sho. Did he really kill her? Alright, new elements. This is basically something called white noise. You'll see purple text going over the testimony. It's gonna get in your way. You have to shoot it down first by using X. However, if you accidentally hit like a statement using X, you're gonna lose time. So be careful. And actually, if you do shoot down some white noise, you actually do get more time. Genocider showcase file. The culprit is genocider Sho. This is indisputable. No way, that can't be true. And why can't it? I mean, it's crazy. There's no evidence. No, that's wrong. Love that fucking strong arm thing. Makes it fucking fly out of there. Anyway. Actually, there is some evidence. Huh? There's a file in the library's archives. A top-secret file documenting all of Genocider Sho's murders. Hold on! Why the hell would something like that be in the archives? I don't feel like explaining. In any case, the file contains highly detailed reports on the Genocider Sho murders. From this, we learn there are 2 distinguishing features to Genocider Sho's crimes. 1, he always leaves a message written in blood at the crime scene. Boobalicious fever! Bloodbath fever. What matters though is the other distinguishing feature, as this information hasn't been made public. It hasn't been made public. You tell them, Nagi. The other unrevealed feature has something to do with how Genocider Sho positions the corpse. He crucifies his victims. Apparently, Genocider Sho crucifies all of his victims. Aside from Genocider Sho himself, only those in the upper echelon of the police know about that. And yet Fujisaki was indeed crucified. That begs the question, how did the culprit learn information only the police and Genocider Sho know? There's only one possible explanation. That the culprit is Genocider Sho. You're shitting me. Does that mean someone here is Genocider Sho? Toko Fukawa. Genocider Sho's true identity is Toko Fukawa. No way! Hold on a second. Fukawa can't stand the sight of blood. I've never heard of a serial killer who's afraid of blood. She both is and isn't Genocider Show. There's your answer. Telling riddles now? Just get to the point, dude. Hakuroi's right. It is kind of like a riddle, but I feel like I understand. What Togami means by she both is and isn't Genocider Show. He's saying there's more than one of her, right? Oh. I get it now. DID. I don't know what the heck to do like that. It's easier in English when they put it with schizo. But no, in this they just put the thing, DID. It's kind of stupid. Because Genocider Show has dissociative identity disorder? Huh? That's what it said in the Genocider Show case file. We hypothesize the suspect has a severe case of dissociative identity disorder. But doesn't that mean Master Toko Fukawa? Oh, but it does. Her strange behavior after seeing the body suggests exactly that. She has multiple personalities. Let's see, what about it? Her speech patterns. You mean the way her speech patterns changed? Think back to what happened when she passed out and then woke back up again. Totally fine, totally fine. Hey, it's a body! Look, it's dead! Yeah, she hit her head pretty bad, dude. The world is made up of fronts and backs. 9 fronts and 9 backs like truths and lies. You're kind of scaring me, and you're not talking like usual either. She was acting rather peculiar, yes. Her characteristic morose diction had vanished. Don't characterize me like that. Also, after she regained consciousness, she had no problem looking at Fujisaki's corpse. In other words, one personality that is afraid of blood, and one that isn't, both reside within you. Then how do you explain Fukawa barricading herself in her room in fear of Genocider? I will not let Genocider Show run free. I'll banish that cursed homicidal maniac. She didn't lock herself in to prevent someone on the outside from entering, but to prevent someone on the inside from getting out. What? Toku Fukawa is terrified of letting that homicidal maniac inside her kill someone. Why? Yeah, why do you think you know all of that? You misunderstand, Asahina. Her why doesn't mean why do you know, but why did you tell? Huh? Last night, just before Monokuma's incentive charade, she and I had a little unusual conversation, and there she revealed something absolutely fascinating to me. That a serial killer dwells within her, and she lives in constant fear of its outbursts. And that this is what caused her to become so gloomy and withdrawn. Isn't that right? That's not true. Is it, Fukawa? You said you wouldn't say anything. Huh? You promised. Was all that a lie? You got the wrong idea. What did you think would come of unloading your misery on someone who never asked? This isn't some romance novel. This is the real world. Besides, you broke your promise first. I seem to recall you saying something to the effect of, "No matter what happens, I will not allow Genocider to kill anyone as long as we are here." But despite that, I'm so sorry. I couldn't keep her promise. But you don't need to worry. I won't let her run free. I won't let Genocider Show run free anymore. You said if I kept my promise, you'd go out with me. That's why I made the promise. Once again, you got the wrong idea. In any event, you were unable to keep your promise. Was the thrill of murder too much for you to resist? I tried. I did everything I could to hold her back. Unfortunately, it seems trying wasn't good enough. You're horrible. Alright, well, that's enough preamble. We'll get to the rest of the story. We'll get the rest of the story straight from the horse's mouth. The horse's mouth? Me. Fukawa's body bent backwards farther and farther, till she fell over, landing with a hard thud. The next moment... Say hello everyone to Genocider Show! You mean it's my turn to play? What? Guess the cat's out of the bag. Whatevs, what can you do? Super duper high school homicidal maniac Genocider Show here. Real name's Toko Fukawa, but screw that. What the hell? What's gotten into you, Fukawa? What's it matter if I've got multiple personalities? What's it matter if one of us is a serial killer? Look the other way. They're just some minor character flaws. Her energy's through the roof. A sound murderer resides in a sound mind and body. I can hardly believe how different they are. Yes, there are two sides to everything in the world. Just as there are 9 tails between every 9 heads, and just as there's a lie behind every truth, behind Little Miss Gloomy is a gaiety brighter than the sun. This is Genocider Show? The homicidal maniac. This is completely outrageous. Excuse me, Miss Genocider Show. May I ask you a question? Yes? Gotta admit, she actually looks a little cute when she does that. There have been rumors going around that you might be the puppet master. What do you have to say to that? Most certainly, I am the one, the only, the puppet master. Just kidding. So, you're not? Of course she's not! Don't go put me on the same level as that psycho! Though, you know what I've noticed recently? The cops out there, and the people too, are pretty helpless. I mean, look, they let this doofus of a serial killer run wild. I know I'm not innocent, but come on, that's life. Living is, in a sense, the act of hurting others. People hurt others so they can live. And they live so they can be hurt. Nod. I'm sure you're all convinced now that Fujisaki was murdered by this homicidal maniac. Given she even has a motive, there's no doubt about it. A motive? You remember what Monokuma said to us yesterday? That if someone had to graduate within 24 hours, he would reveal everyone's secrets. Now suppose Toko Fukawa's shameful memory, or deep dark secrets, was that about Genocider Show. If that information came to life, it would undoubtedly be her ruin. In short, her motive was that she did not want her secret revealed, no matter the cost. I see. Too bad, though. I didn't do it. Huh? I can't imagine anyone other than a homicidal maniac could kill someone in such a brutal fashion. Sorry, hun, but that's the truth. And who do you expect to believe you? Yeah, who would trust a serial killer? They're probably right. I want to agree, but something just doesn't feel right. I should hear her out, get her side of the story in more detail. I didn't kill her. And who do you expect to believe you? Now if you had an alibi... An alibi, you say? Yeah, something like that. Fujisaki's murder and your past murders have identical MOs. No, that's wrong! Just gotta fucking love this song. You said that their MOs were identical, but is that really true? I think there are actually some differences between Genocider Show's past murders and Fujisaki's murder. Huh? Like what? You can't tell? Quiet in the peanut gallery, I'll tell you what he's talking about. When I do it with passion and conviction. So as any artisan would be, I'm very particular about how I go my craft. I'm particularly the same way a renowned ramen shop is particular about its broth and noodles and toppings. But Chihiro Fujisaki's murder is like that if that ramen shop started selling packs of instant ramen. This is most certainly not my work. Allow me to try that again. There are two major differences between Fujisaki's murder and Genocider Show's past murders. First major difference comes to the victim photos in Genocider Show's case file, in particular their stomachs and their necks. So the discrepancy is the cause of death. The cause of death. All of Genocider Show's previous victims were killed in exactly the same way. Based on information from the case file, they were murdered using scissors. On the other hand, Fujisaki died of blunt force trauma to the head. You have a point. 'Tis indeed a disparity. Weird, isn't it, that a known serial killer known for her consistent MO would change things up just this once. But that's not all. There's one other major discrepancy. If the bloody calling cord is the braised pork of my craft, and the crucifixion is the boiled egg. Dude, can we please drop the ramen analogy? So what you're trying to say is, the second inconsistency is in the crucifixion? Right, the second discrepancy is in the crucifixion. If Genociders show case files and their victims had their hands pierced, which means the difference is in what she uses. Do you remember what was used to hang Fujisaki's body? Her hands were bound to the equipment with a cord, which is how her crucifixion was achieved. And what of it? In Genocider Show's murders, the crucifixions were carried out using extremely sharp scissors. Listen up! I kill and I crucify using my very own handmade Geno scissors. I am an artisan. I'm picky about my tools. Plus. You said there are only two differences, Ma, but that's not right. By Ma, do you mean me? Are you listening, Ma? There's one more difference. Huh? What, you didn't notice? There's a certain rule I follow. To choose my victims. Rule. It's as easy as pie to see why I couldn't have killed Babyface so you can figure out my rule. So in other words, Genocider Show follows a rule when choosing her victims, and Fujisaki doesn't meet her qualifications. I'm saying it's probably safe to assume that they have one thing in common that excludes Fujisaki. Oh yeah, I think I've got it. She couldn't have killed Fujisaki because Fujisaki is female. Is it because Fujisaki is female? And bingo was his name-o. What do you mean, dude? There's a particular pattern to the victims of Genocider Show murders. Ken Harada, Tetsuhiro Honda, Gaku Shoji, Issei Kano, Takashi Yoshida, Nataru Komatsu, Takafumi Gono, Yoji Honda, Osamu Tsuji, Naohisa Uchida, Masumune Takashi, and on and on. They're all dudes? Yes, I do it with passion and conviction, but only with flaming hot hunks of man. I said it, how embarrassing. What the hell? I can't help it. I'm a slasher. I crave the very same hunk-on-hunk action that little Miss Gloomy so reviles. Pure unadulterated, steaming hot man/man. You wouldn't kill Fujisaki because she's female and therefore not hot? That's like a ramen chef serving you spaghetti. So they both got noodles. It's still fucked up. It's a line I won't cross because I have passion and conviction. My perfectionism is what makes me me. You've made your tastes and priorities abundantly clear, but that's all they are. Tastes. Priorities. But it all comes crashing down when you're forced to commit murder in order to survive. Quit your yapping, you sore loser! Sore loser? When I killed him for some lame-ass reason like save my own skin. And even if there was some situation where I had to kill someone to save myself, I sure as hell wouldn't crucify him or leave no bloody writing. Too much work and a dead giveaway. You have a very good point. Anyway, no matter what the circumstances, my trusty Genesis are a must-have. Like hell, I'm gonna use some heavy-ass dumbbell. Perchance there are no adequate scissors at hand, so you substitute them for a nearby dumbbell. Adequate scissors? I don't use just any old adequate scissors. I use my own earth-shakingly fabulous handmade Genesis. Which you're even less likely to find here, dude. Oh, really? Dun dun dun! Dun dun dun! Gah! You're fully equipped! Of course she is. She is a psychopathic serial killer. Why wouldn't she have her trusty Genesis on her at all times? Yeah. Okay. Sure. I'm ready to do it anytime, anywhere. You still think I'd use that rope and dumbbell instead of these babies, which I've got experience with? I wouldn't now, would I? Suckers! Anyway, I don't even know how to tie a knot, so I couldn't even use that rope. I have no idea what's going on anymore. Is the serial killer seriously not the killer? But still, what about the crucifixion? That ain't public knowledge. That is the reason we decided it wasn't a copycat, but the real genocider show. Hold on a second. There is someone who could have imitated Genocider Show's modus operandi. And if you haven't pieced it together by now, the one who put together this facade, let me start that over. The one who imitated Genocider Show's method was Byakuya Togami. Here's my answer. You could have done it, couldn't you, Togami? You're in a position where you can readily access secret government documents and internal police files. On top of that, you told me you used to spend a lot of time going over the Genocider Show case files. So you're suggesting Master Byakuya Togami is the murderer? Then Togami's insistence on Genocider Show being the culprit was because he wanted to place the blame for his crimes on her. God. So the person who manipulated the scene to make it look like I did it was the gorgeous man in the glasses here? That's hot! What do you have to say to these claims, Togami? I see. So you suspect me. Then tell me this. When did you first begin to suspect me? Thinking back on it, just before we discovered Fujisaki's body, you did something I think was a little peculiar. That changing room over there is suspicious. Very suspicious, wouldn't you agree? Huh? Suspicious? It doesn't look like anyone's checked the changing rooms yet. Let's look around the women's room first. You suggested that we go to the women's changing room first, didn't you, Togami? But being a guy, you're saying that my first instinct should have been to search the men's changing room. The victim, Fujisaki, is female. That's why I chose the women's changing room. Nothing more. That makes perfect sense to me. No, actually, it doesn't make sense. Then why don't you tell us? What doesn't make sense, Naegi? There's a glaring contradiction in what Togami just said. I just have to point it out. Anyway, non-stop new element. It is basically called a truth bullet. Basically, if you hold triangle over someone's weak point, you can copy it as a truth bullet. Then you can fire it back at another weak point. It's actually used... Well, something you need to move on, because your evidence doesn't actually do anything sometimes. Like right now. Monokuma File 2, we can't even use that. You said Togami did something strange before you found the body. Well, what was strange about that? As a man, whenever the opportunity arises, entering the women's changing room is perfectly natural. The victim, Fujisaki, is female. Oh fuck, I missed. That's why I suggested investigating the women's changing room. We didn't have time to go sightseeing. What's so unusual about that? I very much wish you had taken me with you. Anyway. Oh, fuck. Damn it. Oh, hey, oh, I still got it. No, I'm sick of the fucking, thing moving around all the time. I'm supposed to do concentration, and you got that wrong! Oh, 33% aptitude, goddamn. I still think what you're saying doesn't make sense, Togami. I mean, you shouldn't have known who the victim was before we found the body. So your claim that you chose the women's changing room because the victim was Fujisaki doesn't hold up. I see. Nicely done. Excellent. Now we're getting somewhere, Makoto Naegi. But your allegations are still weak. You need more evidence. Huh? What's the matter? Is that all the evidence you have? I beg to differ. Go on, show it to me. What the? Why is he acting like this? He's egging me on, but why? He should be feeling cornered by now. But it's like, it's not even affecting him. Come on, you're not telling me you're through, are you? You have more evidence. I know you do. I'm pretty sure. There is more evidence. It's hidden in the discussion we had earlier about the discrepancies between this murder and Genocider Show's murders. Evidence that I killed her. The discrepancy between Genocider shows murders in this one. There's evidence there that Togami is the killer. What exactly is she talking about? I know. Desk lamp. The difference between the murders? Want me to go back over them again? I kill with my handmade Geno scissors. I also crucify with my handmade Geno scissors. On the other hand, Fujisaki was crucified with a rope, was it not? Yes, it was indeed a rope. That rope seems rather fishy. Yo, Togami, where'd you get it? I've never seen that rope before. Oh, fuck. So I must have had it hidden somewhere. God damn it, now I keep missing. It's coming, where'd you get it? There we go. No, that's wrong! Alright, that wasn't too bad. Actually, you've seen it before, Togami. The rope used to hang Fujisaki's body was really an extension cord. Huh? 'Twas an extension cord? I saw you using the extension cord in the library, Togami. On top of that, after the murder, the extension cord had disappeared from the library. I refuse to believe that. As the person who had been using that cord, you missed the detail. Then it could only have been Togami who brought the extension cord to the scene of the crime. I see. Interesting. So this is the answer you've settled on. Doesn't seem too shaken up about it. After killing Chihiro Fujisaki in the women's changing room, I hung her body and wrote the bloody message to make it look like Genocider's show had done it. Does that about cover it? Again. It's like he's taunting me for some reason. Like he doesn't have anything to worry about. Wait, nothing to worry about? I asked you a question. Is that your answer? Yes, it's our fucking answer. You killed Fujisaki, you asshole! The opposite of agreeing. That sounds like a very plausible thing for you to do, Togami, after all your talk about this being a game. Hey, would you mind holding off for just a minute? I have to keep the discussion going for just a little bit longer. What, is it really necessary? We've already figured out who did it, dude. Maybe we have, but still. Something doesn't feel quite right. It doesn't feel right, and what would that be? I killed Chihiro Fujisaki in the women's changing room, and then manipulated the crime scene. So it appears that the psychopathic homicidal maniac was responsible for the murder. And what exactly doesn't seem right about that? Wait, is that really how it happened? Well, yes, that's where the body was found. Is Togami really right in saying that? There's something wrong about his claim. You said you killed Fujisaki in the women's changing room, Togami. But I'm not so sure about that. I think the murder might have taken place somewhere else. Unbelievable. You've let me down, Naegi. I thought you were going somewhere with that, but goddamn if I've never been more wrong. She died in the women's changing room. There's no question about that. It couldn't have possibly happened anywhere else. Isn't it possible she was killed somewhere else then brought there, along with the rest of the scene? You think the whole scene was moved? I expect you to have some evidence to back up a claim like that. Yeah, that was the idea. Did I just throw him off balance? He's been so confident up to this point, but as soon as I mentioned the crime scene, maybe it never occurred to him that the murder could have taken place somewhere else. Hey, don't leave the rest of us behind, soldiers! What do you mean she was murdered somewhere else? What's the holdup, Naegi? If you have evidence that showing that she was killed somewhere else, then hurry up and present it! The first piece of evidence suggesting the crime was committed somewhere else is the thing that was moved from the men's room to the men's room for the women's room, and vice versa. That would be the changing room posters. The posters in the two changing rooms suggest the murder might have taken place in a different room. The posters are your evidence? In the women's changing room, there's a poster of a busty supermodel. Doesn't that seem a bit strange? I mean, really, a poster of a female model in the women's changing room? She's not busty, she's busted for having some fake-ass titties. Oh, Genocider Show. How much of a character you are. You can't hate Genocider Show. That's all I'm saying. You can't hate her. On the other hand, the poster hanging in the men's changing room was of a boy band that's extremely popular with girls, Tornado. That too seems a bit out of place, wouldn't you think? So you're proposing the posters in the two changing rooms were switched. That's not all either. There's one thing about the two rooms that doesn't add up. Isn't that right, Ogami? Are you referring to my protein coffee? Protein coffee? One day while working out in the women's changing room, I spilled protein coffee on the floor. And yet after the murder, the stain had been cleaned spotless. Actually, that's not exactly right. The stain wasn't cleaned, it was just relocated. Oh, whoops. Yeah. Whoops. I think it was just the same carpet. Whoopsies. My bad. I fucked up. The stain on the carpet in the women's changing room wasn't actually cleaned. I found it in the carpet on the carpet in the men's changing room. That is indeed the mark left by my protein coffee. So you're saying even the carpet was switched. But to what end? How about to move the scene of the murder from the men's changing room to the women's? I beg your pardon? In other words, the culprit moved the bloodstained poster and carpet along with the corpse in order to relocate the crime scene in its entirety. While I confess that it is a legitimate interpretation, what would the culprit gain from doing so? Huh? Is it truly necessary for them to go through all the effort of relocating the crime scene? Actually, no. The more important question is, if she was really killed in the men's changing room, then how did the victim, Fujisaki, gain access to the changing room? Ah! To enter one of the changing rooms, you must use your Electro ID on the card reader by the door. However, Fujisaki, being female, only had access to the women's changing room via her Electro ID. In short, she couldn't have gained entry into the men's changing room. Wait, there is one way, and if you like, I'd be more than happy to tell you, dude. Forgive me if I don't believe you. Believe it, because I'm about to tell you how she could have done it, right here, right now. Is it really possible? Did Fujisaki really have some way of entering the men's changing room? Is it really possible? Could Fujisaki have gained access to the men's changing room? Aha! I've got it! She modified her E-Hand Electro ID. She was the super duper high school programmer. That cannot have been outside of her abilities. Nope, that ain't it. She used a certain something from the entrance hall. Huh? What? Something. Wada's Electro ID, of course. No, that's wrong. I got 100, yay. Fujisaki couldn't have possibly used Kawada's Electro ID. Why not, dude? Because when I found it in the entrance hall, it was broken. That makes sense, there goes my idea. It is almost impressive how quickly you surrendered. In any event, it wasn't not against the rules to make use of another's Electro ID. The rules only prohibit of lending Electro IDs. They say nothing of borrowing someone else's, which is to say you're free to use any of the dead students' Electro IDs without violating the rules. Yup, that's exactly right. Although it makes no difference since his Electro ID was broken. In which case, she must have reprogrammed it using her skills as a super duper high school programmer. Objection. It's impossible to modify an Electro ID. An alarm will go off if you open one of them up. Given she could neither have used Kawada's Electro ID nor modified her own, could perchance Master Makoto Naegi's line of reasoning have been incorrect? If she couldn't get into the men's changing room, then yeah, that's what that means. Then my vote goes to Togami. Yeah. But is that really how it happened? Did Togami really kill Fujisaki in the women's changing room? I don't think that's right, but I'm all out of... Hold on. I agree with Naegi. I think he's on the right track. Huh? You open your mouth for the first time in who knows how long, and that's what comes out? The kid couldn't have gotten to the men's room, that means. And just how can you be so sure? There is another way. What was that? Explain yourself, Kirigiri. What is this other way? Yes, of course, but to do that, can I possibly request we take a short recess? There's someplace I'd like to take everyone. Whoa, whoa! What you talking about? If you allow it, it'll make the rest of the trial much more exciting, which I'm sure you would enjoy. Oh? It'll make the class trial more exciting? Aye, that's cool with me. This class trial is now officially in recess. What? Seriously? So what's this thing you want to show us? And don't think I'll let you off easy if it's something stupid. I'm sure you won't be disappointed. Let's get going. With nobody really sure what was going to happen, the class trial went on recess, and we all followed Kirigiri. Her destination was... the women's changing room? We've run all over this place with a fine-tooth comb. What do you expect to find here now? Examine the victim's body again, very carefully. Examine Fujisaki's body? All of it, and thoroughly. You mean, touch the body? Nay, 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 nay! I will have to refrain. It would be improper for me to place my hands all over a woman's body. It's not that it creeps me out or anything. It's just that it might possibly be against my religion. I shall do it. But you're a girl, Sakura. Making you touch a dead body is, you know, a guy should really do it. No, it would be more suitable if I, a female, were to touch her than allow a male to do it. I will take care of it. Sakura. I don't want to get so fucking tired. Do I smell homo? Are you two lesbians? Like I said before, how can you not love Genocide or Show? No, we're not. Quit playing games. Very well, I will begin. I hope you can forgive me for doing this, Fujisaki. As she spoke, Ogami held her hands clasped together before Fujisaki's body. Before placing them on her. That was weird. Anyway, make sure you examine the entire body very carefully. That should answer any questions you have. Her whole body, you say? To what end are you having me do... Ah! What's wrong? Impossible. How could this... Ogami's eyes were wide open. Wide, fixated on Fujisaki's body. She was visibly trembling. Fujisaki! What? Is a man! That's right, everyone. Chihiro Fujisaki is a dude. I still remember the first time I saw this. Well, actually, I realized it before I saw it for the first time. It was funny, too, because the first time I played through this game, and I wasn't up to this part yet, I actually did have, like, a crush on Fujisaki. I was thinking, oh man, she's, like, so cute. I love cute girls and stuff like that. And then I get, like, halfway through, this trial, I noticed that I just put down my Vita, put my hands against my fist, and I'm like, oh my god. Just like crying to myself in the corner. Oh man, but no, this really did catch me off guard first time. Oh, one of the reasons I fucking love this game. It catches you off guard the first time you play it. And it's just fun to replay through it all the other times. Anyway. I see. So she was a man. Thank you very much for your... Dude, you're kidding. I do not tell jokes. So, it's true? A guy? Fujisaki's a boy? What's this, you guys didn't know? I thought that was pretty dang obvious. Chihiro Fujisaki is a cross-dresser. He was a cross-dresser? God damn, that's hot. Now I wish I'd done him. That makes sense. So this is what Kirigiri wanted to show everyone. Ooh, poo. You're right about that. This most certainly does make things more exciting. Now let's hop on back to the courtroom and get the ball rolling again, this time with a little extra oomph. Ahem, my humblest apologies for the delay. Court is now back in session. The shocking truth revealed. Chihiro Fujisaki was a boy. Now let's see where you guys go with that. I don't know why he chose to dress like that. But one thing's certain, Fujisaki was male, not female. It never occurred to me that Fujisaki could be a boy. It completely slipped by me, unnoticed. With the victim being male, he would have had no problems gaining access to the men's changing room. If his Electro ID identified him as male, then yes, you're right. You betcha, Fujisaki was a cross-dresser, so of course his Electro ID said he was male. In which case, there are no problems with Naegi's line of reasoning. The victim was murdered in the men's changing room, after which he was moved to the women's. Accessing the women's changing room is simple. He just needed either Mizuno's or Enoshima's Electro ID. And it's true? Fujisaki was actually killed in the men's changing room. We still don't know why the culprit relocated the crime scene, but yes, it seems quite likely. I see. I thought something felt off. I couldn't help thinking something was strange about the way his body felt for a woman. I'm getting kinda turned on by this. But finally, this finally ties everything together. All of my questions have been cleared up. Why should you be having your questions answered when you're a prime suspect? Excellent. Truly magnificent. My oh my, he's been whisked away to another world. What do you think, Naegi? After all this, do you still think Togami did it? I have no doubt Togami was responsible for disguising Fujisaki's death as the work of genocide or show. However, I don't think Togami is the killer. What? Even though you were the proponent of the theory, Master Makoto Naegi? The way he seemed to be egging me on earlier, it was like he was enjoying having his mystery solved. Like he didn't have anything to worry about. I can only imagine he was able to act like that, because he didn't actually have anything to worry about. On top of that, the evidence Togami left behind was kind of, you know, a little too blatant. Like he intentionally used that extension cord as a way to lead us back to him. At least, that's how I see it. What's more, you were obviously caught off guard when you discovered where the murder actually happened, as well as when you learned Fujisaki was a boy. If you really were the killer, neither of those things should have come as a surprise to you. I see. Alright. I'm a little concerned by your lack of decisive evidence, but I suppose that's good enough. We'll go with your answer being correct. Correct? Just as Naegi says, I am not the culprit. I happened to stumble upon his body in the women's changing room, and I modified the scene. That's all. You shit me, man! I'm not shitting anyone. It's true. Who could believe that? If you don't want to believe me, by all means, you're just sending us all to our deaths. If what you're saying is true, then why would you do that? Why would you mess with the body? My reason is unimportant. What matters now is finding the real culprit. Naegi, if I didn't kill him, then who is the culprit? I won't be able to say until we've talked things over a bit more. You want to drag this on even longer? Come on, man, no matter how you slice it, Togs is the killer. We should discuss anything that doesn't sit right with anyone, so you can count me in, Naegi. If we come to the wrong conclusion here, then all of us will be executed. She's exactly right. I too shall participate in the discussion. I'm down too, dudes. Have you no independent thought? I'm no insect, of course I can think for myself. Anyway, let's keep this conversation going. We all need to come to a decision right at this moment. Indeed, you have a point. Our lives are on the line. Then let's recommence this murder mystery game. If Togami really isn't the murderer, then who is? Who killed Chihiro Fujisaki? At the very least, we can say that the culprit is male. We need a male Electro ID to get in the men's changing room, which is the scene of the crime. Since Kawato's was out of commission, the culprit must have used their own. Meaning the culprit has to be male. That's not enough to go off of. I need more clues. Alright, things are getting interesting now. We're starting to come to the end of this. Have we no leads to identify the killer? As for possible leads... Did anyone witness the culprit? If they did, they would have said something, dude. A sighting of the victim will do as well. At this point, we need any new information we can get. Give it up. We're not getting anything. The only person who saw the victim is the culprit, dude. No, that's wrong! Actually, the culprit isn't the only one who saw the victim that night. Isn't that right, Celeste? Now that you mention it, you're right. I did see him. Huh? Seriously? Ah, yes, that's right. Naegi was the only person I told about this. That would explain why you're all so horribly disconcerted. No one else knew. That's not important, just speak! Just before curfew last night, I ran into him in the dormitory storeroom. He was carrying a sports bag containing at the very least a tracksuit. I presume he was going to work out. A sports bag and a tracksuit? We found nothing of the sort at the scene of the crime. In all likelihood, the culprit disposed of them in order to get rid of any evidence. Not long after that, he said something rather interesting. Well, I'm in a hurry, so see you later. I distinctly recall him saying he was in a hurry. Wouldn't him being in a hurry seem to imply he was going to meet someone? In short, Master Chihiro Fujisaki was on his way to an appointment with someone to work out together? Despite the fact that, as hard as we tried, Fujisaki refused to work out with Asahina and I. Isn't that because he didn't want you to find out that he was a dude? Turning that around, it means the person he was going to meet was someone he trusted deeply, enough that he didn't care if they discovered his deep, dark secret. Oh, such a beautiful friendship! So basically the person he was going to meet is the culprit. And we just have to find out who that was? But we only have so much evidence. Is that really enough? Oh, but it is. What? It should be clear by now who the culprit is. Really? Who is it? Who killed him? The culprit considered the sports bag and tracksuit he disposed of to be items of importance. By looking at the distinguishing features of those items, it should be obvious who it was he met with. Is that really so? Could we possibly determine the culprit from evidence that has already been disposed of? Are you suggesting we dust for fingerprints? Without the proper equipment, that would be impossible for amateurs such as ourselves. Never mind the fact that we don't have anything to check for fingerprints, since it's already disposed of. We can still deduce who he was going to meet by discussing it in detail together. That's easier said than done. Alright then, Celeste. Could you answer this? Did you notice anything about the tracksuit or bag stand out? The bag was just an ordinary bag you could find in the storeroom. The storeroom only stocks one variety of bags, so I can't say anything stood out in particular. If memory serves, there are several varieties of tracksuits. Perhaps then Fujisaki's tracksuit can provide us with some information leading to the murder. Then let's discuss his tracksuit, shall we? Could there really be something about Fujisaki's tracksuit that points to the killer? I'm having a hard time believing that. Alright guys, decisive moment. The culprit's about to have a slip of the tongue. The person we fire this bullet against... well, you'll see. First of all, Chihiro Fujisaki was going to work out. Which raises the question. Why did he select that particular tracksuit? What do you mean, that particular tracksuit? I get it. He chose his tracksuit so he and the culprit would match. Which means the culprit and that kid had the same blue tracksuit? No, that's wrong, Mondo. Mondo. Just a second, Iwata. There's something wrong about what you just said. Huh? What's wrong with it? When Celeste was giving her testimony earlier, he was carrying... we already know this, blah blah. She never once mentioned the tracksuit's color. Why then did you know that Fujisaki wore a blue tracksuit? What are you talking about? Celeste, what color was Fujisaki's tracksuit? As I recall, it was blue. And did you tell it to anyone before the class trial? You are the only person I told, Nagi. Then when did you find out that Chihiro Fujisaki wore a blue tracksuit, Iwata? Well, he must have found Fujisaki's tracksuit at some point during the investigation. No, he couldn't have. The bag and tracksuit would have already been disposed of when we began our investigation. Then the real reason he knew what color it was is because he saw Chi with it before he died. By Chi, do you mean Fujisaki? So, which was it? Did you see his tracksuit or didn't you? I just happened to run into him last night and catch a glimpse of it. kid was walking around carrying it. No, that couldn't have happened either. When I was talking to Celeste, she told me. Yes, she stuffed the sleeve back in her bag and she left. But after telling him his tracksuit was hanging out, Fujisaki stuffed it back into his sports bag. Even if you just stumbled into him, you couldn't know what the color of the tracksuit. You couldn't know the color of the tracksuit inside his bag. You've dug your own grave. More like you led him to his grave. That's why I say what you did, isn't it? Your spiel about knowing who Fujisaki met with by looking at his tracksuit was all a bunch of crap. I see. So that was a bluff, was it? Blech. Fucking bug. Your true intention was to cause the culprit to misspeak. That's why you said you knew who the culprit was. To scare him. That's right, except I always had my sights set on Iwata. I was suspicious of him from the beginning. But why? Why did you think Iwata was suspicious? What do you think? It was how he refers to people. The reason I began to suspect you, Iwata, is probably something you do unconsciously. You refer to males and females differently. When talking about a woman, you call her chick. But when talking about a man, you call him kid. After Chihiro Fujisaki was murdered, Iwata started referring to him as kid. That's when it struck me that Iwata knew Chihiro Fujisaki was male. You noticed such a minuscule detail? What are you, woman? Some kind of witch? Scary! I'm not the one you should be afraid of. Fucking itchy as all hell. What you should really be afraid of are people who kill others. Who kill their friends. Gah! Iwata, is it true? Did you really murder Fujisaki? I didn't kill anyone! The hell's your problem anyway? I'll make one little slip of the tongue, have one little brain fart. And all of a sudden you're calling me the culprit! Yeah, really, these are nothing but baseless accusations. Bro would never do such a thing. You have a point, it's hardly decisive evidence. You're already backing down? What other choice do we have? We have nothing else to go off of. Oh, 'tis my time to shine. Just a whisper. I hear it in my ghost. Oh yeah, you mentioned you found some evidence pointing to the culprit before, didn't you, Yamada? Did you really? What'd you find? Actually, thinking about it a little more, it might not actually mean anything. Don't fizzle out like that, man. Just come on. Let us see it, alright? Well, if you insist. Here it is. And what's that? 'Tis an Electro ID. I found it on the floor, so I picked it up. You found an Electro ID, then it must belong to Chihiro. As I recall, Fujisaki's Electro ID wasn't found at the scene of the crime, was it? Yes, that is correct. I knew I was right! I thought that might be the case, that this might belong to Master Chihiro Fujisaki. That'll give us some kind of clue leading to the culprit, yeah? I had the same idea, but alas, 'tis broken and won't even start up. It's likely that after committing the murder, the culprit broke it in an attempt to destroy evidence. That's strange, though. Electro IDs are not easy to break. You got that right. They're completely waterproof with high impact resistance, so they shouldn't break in everyday use. And yet his Electro ID is broken, as was Kawata's in the main hall. Wouldn't you say they're breaking a little too often for as highly as you praise them? Poo-poo. Truth is, there's a bit of a mystery for you there. So here's the question. Why, oh why, did the Electro IDs break? I can only think of one possibility. They have a weakness. After all, Monokuma told us earlier. Monokuma, you told Togami and I that Electro IDs have a weakness. Crap, you remembered that! Yeah, I might have accidentally let that slip, but I never actually told anyone what the weakness was. But for two Electro IDs, which are not supposed to break under normal stress, to be found broken, the only reasonable conclusion is that someone discovered their weakness. You know what it is, don't you, Monokuma? The weakness. What? You want me to tell? I think it's a vital piece of information, and it wouldn't be fair to withhold that from us. But what if I tell you and someone starts goes and tries for themselves? I don't want to have to deal with that. Come on, tell us. We won't try it, we promise. Oh, fine. I have a soft spot for pleading, but seriously, don't try this at home, kids. Very well, but this is a special occasion. The almighty Electro ID's one and only weakness is that extended exposure to high temperatures causes a thermal runaway, destroying it. High temperatures, eh? As I thought! As you thought. I found this electrolyte in the sauna! Isn't it kind of weird how you don't get burned in the sauna when temperatures can exceed 100 degrees Celsius? This is because as your sweat evaporates into the air, it creates a protective layer around your skin. Incidentally, if you blow hot air directly on your skin while in the sauna, you will get burned. That's because it disturbs the air around your skin. That's also why it hurts to move around in the sauna. For that reason, you must take care to remain still and quiet in the sauna. Fascinating. I feel smarter. It was a completely useless piece of trivia. But hey, if the victim's electrolytes were found in the sauna, maybe they put it there on purpose, intending to break it by taking advantage of its weakness. Then the culprit must have known the weakness. But how do you figure it out then? Monokuma said he didn't tell anyone. 'Tis a mystery indeed. And what if he accidentally discovered it? What do you mean, accidentally? The culprit could have, through some turn of events, accidentally broken his electrolyte in the sauna, and then having discovered the electrolyte's weakness, he was able to repeat that a second time with Chihiro Fujisaki's. That's certainly possible, but then, who did it? I can't imagine anyone would bring their electrolyte into the sauna. But I can. You for real? I can name one person who might have brought their electrolyte into the sauna. Sorry, Shimaru. But it looks like your bro is a killer. I feel so bad for Ishimaru in this trial. Mondo Owada, you brought your ID into the sauna. Owada, it was you who broke your electrolyte in the sauna, wasn't it? What? Why? Why him? Owada, you and Ishimaru had an endurance contest in the sauna a couple of days ago, didn't you? You went to the sauna with your uniform still on, and I suspect you didn't take your electrolyte out beforehand. That was when you figured out that electrolyte's breaking the sauna. Yeah. Stop. Stop it. You accuse bro of being a killer. But I refuse to believe it. Where's the conclusive evidence? I don't want to believe it either, but I have evidence that proves the truth. Hope versus despair. I love this one too. I love all the non-stop debate themes. Alright, what proves... Okay, it's the broken one. Nagi's deductions are correct. Then at some point in time, Owada broke his own electrolyte. In other words, if Owada's electrolyte is broken, then that means Nagi's deductions were correct. My electrolyte works just fine! No, that's wrong! I just can't want to listen to this for a while. Oh, never mind. Owada, does the electrolyte you have actually even belong to you? What's that supposed to mean? The broken electrolyte we found in the entrance hall. Isn't that one actually yours, Owada? What in the world are you getting at? I'm saying I think he traded electrolytes. His broken electrolyte for Kawada's functional one. I mean, Monokuma said himself that a Kawada's electrolyte couldn't be broken. I sure did. It can take that much punishment, no problemo. Which means the electrolyte in the entrance hall really was Owada's. And the one he has with him right now belonged to Kawada. But doesn't trading break the rules? Wouldn't that count as lending? Here's my verdict on the issue. The rules forbid you from lending your electrolyte to anyone, but dead people don't count as people. It's a bit of a gray area, but I decided it was okay. More importantly, it makes things more exciting. Accordingly, I declare he is not in violation of the school rules for trading electrolytes with a dead guy. So, Owada, if I'm wrong about this, please say so. I think I'd prefer to be proven wrong. Son of a... What's the matter, bro? Tell him. Tell him he's wrong. Yes, you're wrong. You must be wrong. Your deductions are fatally flawed. Everything. They're all trumped up accusations. Then why don't we go back over everything that's happened from the very beginning? That should make it clear whether my deductions were right or wrong. Alright. I'm probably just gonna cut this out now, so I'll see you guys when I'm done. And here's what happened. Let's go back to before the crime was committed. Last night, Celeste ran into Fujisaki in the dormitory storeroom. Fujisaki was carrying a sports bag with something inside it. A blue tracksuit, yes. And Celeste saw it too. Sports bag in hand, Fujisaki ignored our self-imposed curfew and went somewhere. Fujisaki's destination was the changing room, the men's changing room at that. But how did the victim, who was supposed to be female, enter the men's changing room? That would be easy, because he, was actually a boy. For that reason, he was able to use his own Electro ID to enter the men's changing room. Fujisaki was planning to meet someone in the changing room, and that someone is this incident's culprit. The culprit likely waited for him to let his guard down, then took the murder weapon, a dumbbell. And attacked him. When he did, some of Fujisaki's blood splattered onto the men's changing room's poster and carpet. Ugh. He was in all likelihood impulsive. There are too few signs of it being planning for it to have been premeditated. So the culprit hurriedly began planting red herrings. First he collected the blood-stained carpet, as well as the poster. And brought them along with the body to the women's changing room. Of course you need a girl's Electro ID into the women's changing room. That doesn't matter. That doesn't mean the culprit had to have been female. Both Mizuno's and Enishima's Electro IDs are just sitting in the entrance hall. Using one of them, even a guy could gain access to the women's changing room. Having done exactly that to get in, the culprit did something with the carpet and poster he brought. He exchanged them with those in the women's changing room. In other words, he relocated the crime scene. But that's not the end of this case. Meddling from Togami, who discovered the body first, made things that much more complicated. He entered the new crime scene, and did something there using an extension cord he brought from the library. That's right. Using that extension cord, Togami tied Fujisaki's body up to make it look like a crucifixion. In addition, he used the victim's blood to leave a message on the wall. And he did this to make us believe Genocider Sho had committed the murder. And at the same time Togami was doing this, the culprit, having disposed of Fujisaki's sports bag, went to the sauna. So he could get rid of the last piece of evidence, Fujisaki's Electro ID. Just as he was hoping, the heat of the sauna destroyed Fujisaki's Electro ID. He knew that would happen. He knew that would happen too, because he knew Electro IDs were weak to high temperatures, and that would be because he himself had broke his own Electro ID in the sauna. And that's everything that's happened. Isn't that right, Mondo Iwata? Wait, that can't be true. Where's your evidence? You need evidence. Do you have any evidence? You can't just pin this on bro without any evidence. The evidence he's looking for has already come up in the trial. If we can just take a look at Iwata's Electro ID, that should take care of all of Ushimaru's doubts. Alright, new parts of the MTB. Basically, the opponent and I can now use something called Negatime and Fever Time. The opponent has Negatime, which will remove all of the, timing markers from the screen, so it'll make it harder for me to stay on tempo. And Fever Time, it's basically I can hit X triangle in any order I want. The tempo goes up to max, and I get no penalty for it. All his statements can be destroyed. So yes, let's start this MTB. Let's see if I can do this. Damn! I fucking wrecked shit on that one. I wrecked his shit on that one. Didn't take damage once. Didn't even have to use Fever Time. Oh my god, that was amazing. That's like the best I've ever done on an MTB. If I'm right about everything up to now, then Iwata traded his broken Electro ID for Kuwata's. So how about we all show each other our Electro IDs? That way, save your breath. Huh? Yeah, you're right. I killed him. There we have our confession. Alright. What are you saying, bro? We've come this far. There's no point in fighting anymore. Yo, Monokuma, get this thing started, would you? Ballot time or whatever. Roger that. Wait, please wait. Nope, not waiting. The moment you guys have all been waiting for. Ballot time. Cast your vote using the switch in front of you. So, who your votes nominate as the villain? Will it be right, or will it be oh so wrong? Let's find out. Well, looks like you guys were right again. Yes, the villain responsible for Chihiro Fujisaki's death is Mondo Iwata. Mondo. Oh, by the way, it was not a unanimous vote. Ishimaru alone selected incorrectly. That was a close one, Ishimaru. You should be more careful next time. I refuse to believe it. I refuse to believe Bro's a murderer. Sorry, man. Why are you apologizing? Why? Tell me why. Why? Why would you do such a thing? Oh, I feel so bad for Ishimaru. And Mondo too. Since it seems Iwata is exercising his right to remain silent, allow me to explain in his stead. A sad tale of two men serves as the backdrop for our murder. Oh, and anyone who doesn't feel like reading this can just hold the circle button to skip all this. Once upon a time there was a boy by the name of Chihiro Fujisaki. This boy had an extreme complex about being weak. Be a man. Time and time again he heard those words, but he was never able to vanquish that weakness. Instead, he took refuge in a greater weakness. The boy became a girl. That was how he chose to escape from his problem. No one can tell me to be a man anymore. But no matter how far we withdrew into his shell, he was unable to eradicate the complex that had taken root inside of him. A shell, after all, is naught but an empty husk. Rather than disappearing, Fujisaki's complex grew more intense. I'm such a weakling. Weakling. And then, with the start of the academic coliseum, he learned another difficult lesson. The survival of the fittest is the law of this world, that if he remained weak, he couldn't survive. To top it all off, sickeningly adorable Monokuma threatened to reveal everyone's shameful secrets. Fujisaki's deep, dark secret was... Chihiro Fujisaki dresses like a girl, even though he's a boy. That was one secret he absolutely couldn't bear to have come to light, because as soon as it did, the shell, no, the armor protecting him would be ripped off, and he would be subjected to an excruciating degree of criticism and pressure. Faced with such a hopeless dilemma, he fell into deep despair. Or so everyone thought. I'm sorry. I really don't want to say anything right now, but I can't go on like this, so I promise I'll tell you later. I'll work really hard, so I'm strong enough to tell everyone. Annoyingly, the threat of his secret coming out drove him to get stronger, damn it! This is my chance. This is the best chance I'll ever have. I'll get stronger. I'll become the person I was meant to be. I'll become strong enough to smile and shake it off when anyone tells me to be a man. With his mind made up, he immediately set out to begin work. And so... he planned to begin his working out that day, to reforge his body and heart from the ground up. However, sadly, that turned out to be both his first and last workout. When he decided to begin working out, Fujisaki also wanted to ask someone to help him. He planned to tell that person his secret and then ask them for their assistance. That person he selected was me. Yep, that it was. He thought Iwata, the dude bro biker obsessed with man's honor, would promise to keep his secret. There was also the fact that manly man Iwata was the fit the ideal of strength Fujisaki so admired. First I'll build up the courage to talk to Iwata. Then I'll ask him to help me get stronger. That was his admiration. Iwata was something Fujisaki could never be, and that's why he admired him. Then Iwata, you did that to keep your promise to him, didn't you? That? You were moving the body from the men's changing room to the women's. Precisely. Was that not supposed to have been a red herring? I'm sure that was part of it, but it wasn't his only reason. He also did it to keep his promise to Chihiro Fujisaki, a promise between men. And what does moving his body have to do with keeping a secret? If Chihiro Fujisaki had been found killed in the men's changing room, the discussion would go straight to, how did he get into the room? And as soon as that happened, people would start doubting he was what he claimed to be. By moving his body to the women's changing room and stealing his Electro ID, he steered us away from that. So, Iwata did what he did to keep the promise he made to Fujisaki, who he killed with his own hands. Why would you? The more I hear, the less sense it makes. You two shared a bond of trust. So then, why did you? I didn't want anyone to find out, no matter what. I thought that might have been the trigger. The threat to reveal our shameful memories and our deep dark secrets. No, it couldn't be. That's not possible. No one could possibly have a secret. They so desperately didn't want anyone to know that they would kill someone over it. I believe I've said this once before. Assuming everyone views the world through your eyes is the pinnacle of idiocy. Maybe you don't have one, but he did. That's all there is to it. While we're on the subject, how about I tell you that, too? The skeleton hiding in Iwata's closet that he didn't want the world to know about is that he killed his big brother. The Mondo Iwata standing before you today, the super-duper high school outlaw biker, the man feared by delinquents nationwide, got his start thanks to a certain someone. His big brother Daya Iwata. Mondo had a deep respect for his brother, and it was his brother who inspired him to start riding. Raised in a savage, barbaric household, the one person Mondo could feel comfortable around was his brother. He chased after his brother, imitating him any way he could, trying to catch up to him. That was the kind of little brother Mondo was. And then, all of a sudden, the biker gang his charismatic brother had assembled rose to be the #1 gang in Japan. On top of At the top of the gang sat Big Brother Daya, in seat number 2, Little Brother Mondo. At first he was okay with that, but when the time came for his brother to retire and him to inherit the spot as the second head, he was overcome by the pressure of his brother's greatness hanging over him. He was always just number 2. Daya built the gang all by himself. Brother's just a bonus. Can a kid like that really handle taking over? The gang's just gonna go downhill from here. Day after day, the gang's murmurings found their way to Mondo. And because of that, I've got to be even stronger than my big bro. So just this once, I've got to beat him. I've got to kick his fucking ass. So on the night of his brother's retirement party, Mondo challenged his brother to a race. However, tragedy struck during their competition. So concerned about winning, he started getting reckless and ended up driving into oncoming traffic. But in the next moment... So in all reality, Mondo didn't kill his brother. Contrary to what people say. I mean, did Mondo contribute to his death? Yes. Should he feel responsible for killing him? No. I don't think he should. But he probably does, because, well, he just thinks it's all his fault that his brother's dead. In a way, I guess you could look at it like that, but I still choose to think Mondo didn't actually kill his brother. As he lay wrapped in his little brother's arms, these were Daya's final words. Whoops. I slipped. Sorry, man. Knowing full well his little brother was responsible for the accident, Daya still did not blame Mondo. Hey, one last thing, bro. Don't you dare let the gang fall apart. You and me created that gang. Together. Promise me. Man's honor. Mondo decided to keep the cause of the accident a secret from the rest of the gang. In order to keep his promise, in order to prevent the gang from splitting up, he couldn't tell anyone that it was his own weakness that had caused his brother's accident. As a result, the gang united once again under the lead of the younger brother who defeated the elder brother. That's what he gets for running recklessly because the other was going to lose. And that became the reason for Daya's death. Mondo's lie became the truth. And thus Mondo resolved to take the helm of the gang propped up by his lie. I am strong. Strong. However, with the start of the Academic Coliseum, he learned a difficult lesson. That as strong as he made himself out to be, he was nothing but a weakling who could die at any moment. To top it all off, freakishly adorable Monokuma threatened to reveal everyone's shameful memories. His deep dark secret was... Mondo Owada killed his big brother. There was no way I could let the gang learn about that. If they did, it would have collapsed. It would have destroyed the gang me and my big bro built. It would have meant it was all for nothing. My regret, carrying the weight of my big bro's death alone. So Wada. As soon as Monokuma started up with all that stuff about revealing our secrets, it was like this fog of anxiety went and started swirling around inside my head. It's never happened before. I had no idea what I was supposed to do. While I was sitting there unable to make up my mind, before I knew it, the fog of uncertainty fucking blew up into this huge-ass rock-hard mountain of uncertainty. That's when it happened. That's when Fujisaki asked me to help him get started working out. The kid started telling me a secret. You serious? Yeah, sorry for lying. But why? Why did you suddenly decide to reveal your secret? Huh? You've been keeping that a secret for so long. If someone finds out, you'll... Well, yeah, but... I want to change. I want to destroy the old me. The me who always retreats into a lie. Those words came at me like a knife. I felt that negated everything I'd done. I need to change. I'm weak. But you're strong, Owada. I'm sure this is no big deal for you. no matter what Monokuma reveals about you. What, you want me to tell you? Are you saying if I'm really strong, then I should tell you my fucking secret? Huh? I envied him. I was envious of Fujisaki's strength. The strength he had to look his weakness in the eye and try to overcome it. A strength I didn't have, so I envied him. The envy broke me down. That's sarcasm? I'm strong? You being fucking sarcastic with me? I'm not being sarcastic. I mean it. You really are strong, Iwata. Something started creaking, making this unpleasant screeching sound. Inside my head. The fuck do you want me to do? The fuck was I supposed to do? You think I should have told the truth? Let it all go to waste? What's the matter? Why'd you tell me? You trying to win me over? I just admire you, Iwata. I admire how strong you are. Yeah, I'm strong. You got that right. I'm strong. I'm strong. Strong, 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 strong! Stronger than you! And stronger than my big bro was! I don't remember what happened after that. Next thing I knew, the kid was lying at my feet, covered in blood. And I had a dumbbell in my hand. I was looking down on him. Bro! I killed him. I killed Chihiro Fujisaki. Because I was never able to conquer my own weakness. Because of that, I did something terrible. Wada. He always seemed so tough. But he shouldered a weakness. Kept it hidden from everyone else. And he targeted that weakness in his heart, maliciously throwing salt into his wounds. It was all his doing. Well, would you look at that? This is what you guys are. You're creatures who have no problem killing each other over something as silly as the past. You won't break off your lingering attachment to the outside, nor do you have any idea what strength is. Hope my fuzzy black and white badonkadonk. Damn you! You little bastard! Say it again, I dare you! Sure, I'll say it as many times as you want. Or I'd like to. But we don't have time for that. It's about time for someone's punishment. Punishment? You mean execution? Those are the rules, right? The villain who destroys the order will be punished. Wait! I've prepared a very special punishment for Mondo Iwata, the super-duper high school outlaw biker. Wait. Please wait. Let's get this ball rolling. It's punishment time! Hold on for a second, let me see this. Okay. I'm asking you to wait! Sorry, big bro. I couldn't keep our promise. And with that, we have our second execution. Mondo Iwata is dead. I really do feel bad for him because he just like snapped. I don't really blame him for anything that happened. But still. Oh well. O death, do grace us with your gentle smile, and grant ye his soul everlasting peace. Oh, whoops. No. No. Bro. The second murder and then the second execution. It hit me again. That life is fragile. It hit me so hard I thought I might fall over. Our lives are painfully fragile. Ah! Ah! Ishimaru's bitter screams echoed through the courtroom, each wail a painful reminder of that truth, and yet, one of us. That was underwhelming. Not a very satisfying conclusion to our game.
Hey, fuck you!
Question to all of you watching. Am I the only one who wants to bash Togami's head in on one of those fucking pedestals right now? Fucking Togami. I can't stand him. After what he did to Chihiro, too, that's just like completely fucking disrespecting his corpse. Can't stand that fucking bastard. Togami? You're completely mad. Enough of the game crap. 2 of our friends are dead, you know. Well, naturally, this is a game of life and death. I'm not going to comment on your way of thinking. That's not what I'm trying to do. I just can't figure it out. Why would you intentionally help to disguise Awada's crime? Why, you ask? Isn't it obvious? Because it made things more interesting. He spoke in a calm, quiet tone of voice that sent a shiver down my spine. Last night, the night of the murder, I was in the library as usual. You too ignored our curfew. I never paid any mind to your curfew, nor do I recall agreeing to keep it. Well, I suppose it doesn't matter. Please continue. It was getting late, so I was just going back to my room. I just happened to catch the sight of Owada leaving the women's changing room. After he was gone, I looked inside, and there I found a corpse. What? You saw everything? God, he was such a fool. He never had any idea I saw him. So, you knew who the culprit was the whole time, Master Byakuya Togami. But it would have been boring if that's all there was to the case. A game where you know the answer ahead of time is nothing but a waste of time. So I lent him my hand. To spice things up a bit. To spice things up? That's why you did that? Having just barely learned from Fukawa that she was genocide her show, you made use of that to lead us off the trail. Dude, if we never would have been able to figure out who really did it, you'd be dead along with us. Obviously, I would have said something before it came to that. And who would have fucking believed you? No one. Except Togami glared in my direction, his sharp gaze piercing me like so many needles. Thanks to Mr. Brilliant over here, it didn't come to that. You made this a surprisingly good dry run. Now I know exactly who to watch out for when it's my turn to play villain. What? I see, so that's why you did it. Are you satisfied now? Yes, I've heard enough from you. Next, I'd like to ask you something, Monokuma. Oh, now it's my turn? You've made both executions considerably elaborate ordeals. Why put so much effort into it? Poo. You a fan? 'Cause these punishments aren't just for you guys. This despair is not yours alone. These punishments, this despair, they're for all mankind. You sure enjoy blowing things out of proportion. No exaggeration. These punishments were designed to transform every last bit of hope into despair. What do you mean by that? Mean. Oh, give me a break. Your obsession with finding meaning in things is meaningless. Doesn't matter either way. In the end, I'm the one who will emerge victorious, and when that happens, all will be made known. So, you get it, Mr. Scion, sir. Poo. I feel like you and I can make really great pals. Enough. As I would ever get along with an infantile criminal. In any case, I'll warn you now. After I've seized my victory, you're next. You listening? I will kill you. On the name of those destined to triumph, my name is the Togami. Badass! You sound like a protagonist there. Kinda too bad you're just a side character, huh? I will kill you, I swear to God! Ooh, poo poo poo. Don't be so quick to anger. Want to hear my spiel about calcium? Ooh, poo poo poo. Ooh, poo poo. The resonance of Monokuma's high-pitched cackle signaled the falling of the curtain on this trial. But it didn't end there. This academic column did not cease. It refused to close its doors. The thick cloud of despair swirling around us survivors was slowly beginning to gain momentum. It was despair so deep you'd sooner put your money over a dog lost in Hades over us. It was despair so dense. Our courage, our friendship, our effort, they all had no effect on it. My, I have to say, things are moving at a nice pace. A very nice pace indeed. It looks like her stepping up to the plate before things leveled out left a bigger mark than I expected. And once things get going, it's just like a roller coaster. There's no stopping it. It's moving so fast, only their fear and despair can keep up. The one thing I'm disappointed about is that you didn't get your time to shine. Sad, since I've already got you down in there with them. You were supposed to have been the one to fire the first shot. Whatever. What can you do? You just keep doing on what you've been doing, and make sure things stay exciting. That's what everyone wants. I have one question. Anything but my measurements and I'll listen. Who is it? Who is the 16th student? Bah! My, this is a surprise. I did listen, but... Super denied! Hella denied! I mean, come on, that's my trump card. We may be in this together, but I'm not stupid enough to show you my trump card like it's nothing. Poo 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 poo. Poo poo poo. And with that, Chapter 2, Weekly Shonen Despair Magazine, is completed. We're down to 10 survivors. Probably seems like 5 people have died already, doesn't it? Oh well. This game moves fast. We obtained the Crazy Diamond. Wada's jacket. Anyway, I'm gonna call it an extremely long episode here. So I'll see you guys next time for some more Let's Play DanganRonpa 2. Wait, what? No, DanganRonpa. See you guys then. Bye.